We're getting closer. Accelerated stalls. Though the stall just discussed normally occurred at a specific airspeed, the pilot must thoroughly understand that all stalls result solely from attempts to fly at excessively high angles of attack. During flight, the angle of attack of an airplane wing is determined by a number of factors, the most important of which are the airspeed, the gross weight of the airplane, and the load factors imposed by the maneuvering. At the same gross weight, airplane configuration, and power setting, a given airplane will constantly stall at the same indicated airspeed if no acceleration is involved. The airplane will, however, stall at a higher indicated airspeed when excessive maneuvering loads are imposed by steep turns, pull-ups, or other abrupt changes in its flight paths. Stalls entered from such flight situations are called accelerated maneuver stalls, a term which has no reference to the airspeeds involved. Stalls which result from abrupt maneuvers tend to be more rapid, severe than the unaccelerated stalls, and because they occur at higher than normal airspeeds and or may occur at lower than anticipated pitch attitudes, they may be unexpected by an inexperienced pilot. Failure to take immediate steps toward recovery when an accelerated stall occurs may result in a complete loss of flight control, notability, and power on spins. This stall should never be practiced with wing flaps in the extended position due to the lower G-load limitation in that configuration. Accelerated maneuver stalls should not be performed in any airplane, which is prohibited by such maneuvers by its type certification, restrictions, or airplane flight manual and or the pilot operating handbook. If they are permitted, they should be performed with a bank of approximately 45 degrees and in no case at a greater speed than the airplane manufacturer's recommended airspeeds or the design maneuvering speed specified for the airplane. The design maneuvering speed is the maximum speed at which the airplane can be stalled or full available aerodynamic control will not exceed the airplane's limit load factor. At or below this speed, the airplane will usually stall before the limit load factor can be exceeded. Those speeds must not be exceeded because of the extreme high structural loads that are imposed on the airplane, especially if there's turbulence. In most cases, these stalls should be performed at no more than 1.2 times the normal stall speed. The objective of demonstrating accelerated stalls is not to develop competency in setting up the stall, but rather to learn how they may occur and develop the ability to recognize such stalls immediately and to take prompt, effective recovery action. It is important that recoveries are made at the first indication of a stall or immediately after the stall has fully developed. A prolonged stall condition should never be allowed. An airplane will stall during a coordinated steep turn exactly as it does from straight flight, except that the pitching and rolling actions tend to be more sudden. If the airplane is slipping toward the inside of the turn at the time the stall occurs, it tends to roll rapidly toward the outside of the turn as the nose pitches down because the outside wing stalls before the inside wing. If the airplane is skidding toward the outside of the turn, it will have tendency to roll to the inside of the turn because the inside wing stalls first. If the coordination of the turn at the time of the stall is accurate, the airplane's nose will pitch away from the pilot just as it does in a straight flight stall since both wings stall simultaneously. An accelerated stall demonstration is entered by establishing the desired flight attitude, then smoothly, firmly, and progressively increasing the angle of attack until a stall occurs. Because of the rapidly changing flight attitude, sudden stall entry, the possible loss of altitude, it is extremely vital that the area be clear of other aircraft and entry altitude be adequate for safe recovery. This demonstration stall, as in all stalls, is accomplished by exerting excessive back elevator pressure. Most frequently it will occur during improperly executed steep turns, stall and spin recoveries, and pullouts from steep dives. The objectives are to determine the stall characteristics of the airplane and develop the ability to instinctively recover on the onset of a stall at other than normal stall speeds or flight attitudes. An accelerated stall, although usually demonstrated in steep turns, may actually be encountered at any time Excessive back elevator pressure is applied and/or the angle of attack is increased too rapidly. From straight and level flight at maneuvering speed or less, the airplane should be rolled into a steep level flight turn and back elevator pressure gradually applied. After the turn and bank are established, back elevator pressure should be smoothly and steadily increased. The resulting apparent centrifugal force will push the pilot's body down in the seat, increasing the wing loading and decrease the airspeed. After the airspeed reaches the design maneuvering speed or within 20 knots above the accelerated stall speed, back elevator pressure should be firmly increased until a definite stall occurs. These speed restrictions must be observed to prevent exceeding the load limit of the airplane. When the airplane stalls, recovery should be made promptly by releasing sufficient back elevator pressure and increasing power to reduce the angle of attack. If an uncoordinated turn is made, one wing may tend to drop suddenly, causing the airplane to roll in that direction. If this occurs, the excessive back elevator pressure must be released, power added, and airplane returned to straight and level flight with coordinated control pressure. The pilot should recognize when the stall is imminent and take proper action to prevent a completed stalled condition. It is imperative that a prolonged stall, excessive airspeed, excessive loss of altitude, or spin be avoided.